Well, Jimmy Kimmel was fired because he had bad ratings more than anything else, and he said a horrible thing about a great gentleman known as Charlie Kirk. And Jimmy Kimmel is not a talented person. He had very bad ratings, and they should have fired him a long time ago. So, you can call that free speech or not. He was fired for lack of talent. You're all psyched. Somebody psyched you over at ABC. They're going to psych it. You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter.
Trump and his obsession with bashing ABC News is nothing new. Trump's obsession with the late-night show host Jimmy Kimmel is nothing unusual either. On multiple occasions, the President of the United States has called the news outlet ABC fake news, alleging that the news portal provided false information and put out a false impression of Trump and corner to the public. On different platforms and on different occasions, Trump has also lashed out at late-night show host Jimmy Kimmel. The reason being the popular host from time to time calls out Trump in his policies sarcastically, and it hurts. On a serious note, getting on Trump's nerves is no joke, pun intended. Among many other things, in simple words, the ABC network and Jimmy Kimmel are bothering Mr. President. By now in the US and the world, everyone knows that Trump's criticism tolerance quotient is not very high. But the man with no talent, Kimmel, always touches the most sensitive nerve of the President of the United States, and that's Jeffrey Epstein. Amid the Epstein drama, Trump ramped up his attack on ABC and Jimmy Kimmel on November 20th, asking the network to get the bum off the air shortly after the comic's latest episode ended. To be precise, 11 minutes after the show aired on the East Coast. Taking to Truth Social, Trump went on a rampage against Kimmel and wrote, quote unquote, "Why does ABC fake news keep Jimmy Kimmel, a man with no talent and very poor television ratings, on the air? Why do the TV syndicates put up with it? Also, totally biased coverage. Get the bum off the air." Trump's latest swipe at Kimmel came 2 months after ABC supposedly suspended the comedian over comments he made following the reported assassination of GOP activist Charlie Kirk. The network then reversed the suspension after major public backlash. After Trump's public outcry against ABC and Jimmy, Kimmel's show began with a blistering monologue about Trump. At the very beginning, Jimmy said a special hello to Trump. The comedian started his show by saying, "A special hello to those of you who are watching from the White House, and you know who you are," sarcastically referring to Trump as the Angry Orange. Jimmy appreciated POTUS's effort to watch and post about his show amidst the biggest sex scandal in the history of the American presidency, the Epstein saga. It's also sweet that even in the middle of the biggest sex scandal in the history of the American presidency, he takes precious time on the toilet to post about our show. These were exactly the comic's words. Further, not mincing words, Kimmel gave the president a taste of his own medicine. "I'll go when you go, okay? Until then, quiet Piggy." Like the Epstein drama not leaving Trump alone, ABC News and its journalists' tough questions are also not letting Trump be at peace either. Trump and his name-calling toward journalists is nothing new. If the 47th president of the United States doesn't like you, he will probably have a name for you. Not long after Trump silenced a Bloomberg woman journalist by telling her, "Quiet Piggy," for her question on Epstein, Trump lashed out at ABC Network's chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce for her point-blank question, "Why not just release the Epstein files?" His press staff then followed with a 17-point memo listing grievances against ABC News. Watch the heated exchange between Trump and the ABC journalist.
Mr. President, why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it now?
It's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you are a terrible reporter. It's the way you ask these questions. You start off with a man who's highly respected, asking him a horrible, insubordinate, and just a terrible question. And you could even ask that same exact question nicely. You're all psyched up. Somebody psychs you over at ABC. They're going to psych it. You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter. As far as the Epstein files I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I thought he was a sick pervert. And I guess I turned out to be right. But you know who does have? Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, who ran Harvard, was with him every single night, every single weekend. They lived together. They went to his island many times. I never did. Andrew Weissman, I hear. All these guys were friends of his. You don't even talk about those people. You just keep going on the Epstein files. And what the Epstein is a Democrat hoax to try and get me not to be able to talk about the $21 trillion that I talked about today. It's a hoax. Now, I just got a little report, and I put it in my pocket, of all the money that he's given to Democrats. He gave me none, zero, no money to me. But he gave money to Democrats. And people are wise to your hoax. And ABC's, your company, your crappy company, is one of the perpetrators. And I'll tell you something.
So why not just sign it now?
I think the license should be taken away from ABC because your news is so fake and it's so wrong. And we have a great commissioner, chairman, who should look at that, because I think when you come in and when you're 97% negative to Trump and then Trump wins the election in a landslide, that means obviously your news is not credible and you're not credible as a reporter. So I've answered your question. You should go and look at the Democrats who received money from Epstein, who spent their time. Larry Summers was with him all the time. That creep, the fund guy, was with him all the time. What's his name?
Reid Hoffman.
Reid Hoffman. I don't know Reid Hoffman, but I know he spends a lot of money on the radical left. Reid Hoffman, in my opinion, should be under investigation. He's a sleazebag. And those are the people, but they don't get any press, they don't get any news, and you're not after the radical left because you're a radical left network. But I think the way you ask a question with the anger and the meanness is terrible. You got to go back and learn how to be a reporter. No more questions from you. Who else has a question?
Friends, very quickly, I want to ask you, how much money is Saudi Arabia giving for Gaza reconstruction?
Well, we are in discussion about that. Still, there's no amount being
It'll be a lot.
named, but
It'll be a lot.
we will definitely help.
Yeah, he's going to. It's very important to him.
And a quick follow-up, the International Security Force, given your pledge there will be no U.S. boots on the ground, what is the U.S. role going to be in that? And how do you sort of ratify the allegations that this could undermine Palestinian sovereignty and even the path to
Look, I think we're going to get along great with the Palestinians. And we know their leadership. We just had a very, you hate to say war, but it was a war. Very, very successful. And you could say really it was on behalf of everybody. We did that on behalf of everybody. And the outcome was extraordinary because we had the best pilots, the best equipment, the best planes, the best everything. And Israel bought the best equipment. They bought it from us. Everything's from us. It all starts here. This office, I was talking to the Crown Prince a little while. You walk into this office, for somebody from the outside, the Oval Office, it's the most powerful place in the world. You're standing right now in the most powerful place in the world. And no matter how big you are, these are the biggest people, the richest people. They walk into this office. It's special, isn't it? Look at him. He's so happy to be here. But you walk into this office. It's the Oval Office. And we've done a lot of good with this office. I've stopped actually 8 wars. I appreciated your question before. But I've actually stopped 8 wars. I have another one to go with Putin. I'm a little surprised at Putin. It's taken longer than I thought. But we stopped India and Pakistan. I could go through the list. You know the list better than I do. I'm very proud. And I stopped one that was almost ready to start again. There was one that was ready to start, and they're doing very well. So it all took place right here in the Oval Office, whether by telephone or whether by they came in. Many of these leaders have come in, and they signed their peace deals right here in the Oval Office. So no matter if it's the biggest business people in the world or the greatest leaders in the world, the biggest leaders in the world. Like the gentleman on my right, everybody walks into the Oval Office and they say, wow. And now, by the way, the Oval Office is in the kind of condition that it should be in. Whether you look at the walk or the marble floors or anything down the road, we're fixing the White House and we're building one of the greatest ballrooms ever to be built. You know, we have an event tonight and we're going to have about 118 people because we have a very small room. For 150 years, they've wanted a ballroom, and now you're going to get a great ballroom. And I have to say, I probably made a lot of enemies because in your honor, we're having a dinner tonight, a beautiful dinner tonight, and we have a very small room, right? It's called the East Room, and it's beautiful, it's lovely, but it's like for a little cocktail before you go into a ballroom. It's a very small room. They've wanted a new ballroom for 150 years. We could have sold the big ballroom out 3 times in honor of this gentleman. So I made a lot of enemies because I have a lot of people that are invited tonight or are unable to come because of the size constraint. But you know what we'll do before I leave office? We'll have another dinner because we'll have it ready long before I leave office, and it's going to be beautiful. It's a very popular thing what we're doing. And by the way, no government funds. It's all put up private money, all private money. And in the case, I think there's a restriction on foreigners. Otherwise, I could have asked you just for a check on that. But there's a restriction. These are all private individuals that put up a lot of money to build the ballroom. Not one penny is being used from the federal government. So it's really a nice thing. But I look forward to it. I just pointed it out. This would be a perfect night to have that ballroom open, Susie. If we had that open, we'd have a lot of people very happy. Right now, we have a lot of unhappy people because they all want to be with us tonight to honor this great man. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.